Hello everyone, welcome back to another State of Decay 2 ranking video. You heard the title right. Today we're ranking the 5 Landmark Outposts in State of Decay 2. We've already made a video on ranking every other outpost in the game, so if you haven't seen that and enjoy this video, consider checking it out. Now each Landmark Outpost cost 1000 influence and are all located on different maps, and they all do very different things, with some being better than others. They all have 3 strategies to choose from. These strategies can be changed at any point to fit your current objectives and plans. Some will give you bonuses, and others will involve having to spend certain resources, such as labour or parts, which I'll talk about soon. I'll also talk about which strategy will probably be the best for your community, and why that may be the case. But enough stalling, let's just get right into it, starting with number 5. Number 5, the Windmills of Meager Valley. I've put them at number 5 for a couple of reasons, but let me be clear, this outpost is still a lot better than half the regular outposts in the game. It's basically a better option than the power outposts. It gives your base permanent power for no fuel cost and costs 1000 influence to claim, half of the standard 2000 influence from the regular power outposts. The 3 strategies we get with the windmills are not bonuses, but instead action plans for how we are going to pay for this base-wide power. We can either spend some influence per day, parts per day, or labour to keep the outpost up and running. Now it's up to you what strategy you take, but me personally, I would take the parts option or the labour option, never the influence, that's too valuable. It depends on what point in the game you're at. If you've got workers standing about doing nothing, then yeah, by all means, send them to the windmills.
As a child, I yearned for the
windmills. Or if you don't have the labour and a shed load of parts, maybe using those isn't a bad idea. There's nothing else to this outpost. It's really this simple. Power for one of the 3 resources. It's not bad, but the other Landmark Outposts are a little bit more interesting, which is why I've left it at number 5. Number 4, Leeds Concrete Silos on Cascade Hills. This is another very simple outpost and it works in the exact same way. Give up some parts, labour or influence per day, but this time we get materials instead. I'd recommend spending parts or labour here again. The way this outpost works is that it nullifies our daily materials cost, meaning we get however many materials per day that we are spending. For example, if we are spending 5 materials per day, we get 5 materials per day from this outpost. This is all it does. It's very basic, but it is helpful. The materials we stack up per day can get expensive, up to 8 or 9 sometimes, so it's very useful for that. But what keeps it at number 4 is that long-standing communities will have so many materials they don't even bother with the daily cost. No materials cost is going to phase a stock like that, especially if it's not being spent on anything. Number 3, the New Hope Church in Providence Ridge. This is one of the most unique and versatile outposts you could possibly have in State of Decay 2, with the 3 strategies it has being so different to one another. You can basically turn the outpost into one of these 3 large facilities we have in the game. The first strategy we have turns the outpost into a luxury barracks, providing beds and a big bonus to morale. The second strategy turns the outpost into a lounge, giving you a lot of passive and active ways to boost morale. And the third and final strategy turns your outpost into a sniper tower, with a massive reduction to your threat level and the ability to call in sniper support as a radio command. Each strategy has its uses, and what really makes this outpost good is that you can use it for multiple situations. You can have plans and strategies that revolve around this outpost, and you can just as easily change these plans and strategies. But it gets beat by the next 2 Landmark Outposts because arguably they help even more with everyday survival. But make no mistake, this outpost is not bad. Number 2, Sasser Regional Hospital located in Drucker County. First of all, we get a passive 2 meds income per day, which is just as good as the level 2 meds outpost, which would have actually cost you more influence, which I've displayed on screen here. As you would expect, this outpost offers a range of health-based buffs for your entire community, with an increase to your survivor's maximum health, infection resistance or injury resistance. The best strategy here is probably infection resistance, especially in higher difficulties. But all of the buffs here are very practical for everyday survival, and it makes number 2 because of that reason. It may be simple, but who doesn't want to increase their whole community's survival chance? And then we have number 1, the best Landmark Outpost in the game, by quite a bit I think, is the Echo Lab Research Station found in Trumbull Valley. This outpost experiments with all things plague, giving us the ability to make plague consumables such as scent block, Zedi, even bloater gas grenades, and grenade rounds, the same options we have with the Advanced Biochem Station facility mod. Another strategy we have is to use a small amount of samples, parts, and either snacks or coffee to boost our maximum health or stamina for a short while. Not bad. And the third, and in my opinion the best strategy for this outpost, and strategy for any outpost probably, is to use plague samples and chemicals to either produce meds or duplicate the samples we currently have. The way this duplication works is you fork over one plague sample and a couple of cases of chemicals, and then after waiting about 10 minutes, you get 8 or 9 plague samples back, which is insane profit margins. What's the purpose of duplicating samples? Why is it so good? Well, it's simple. Plague cure and bulk plague cure. With both of these we can survive the zombie virus, and surviving the zombie virus is a valuable resource which we can sell in the form of bulk plague cure. So, what does this outpost offer us? More samples. Okay, doesn't really seem that good, but the potential that this can offer us is insane, and that's why it makes the #1 spot. It doesn't provide value, but it creates potential for immense value. And there we have it folks, all 5 landmark outposts ranked in State of Decay 2. Hopefully in enough detail and explanation for you guys. I'll be moving on to maps next with all the information I've used in these 3 videos here to create one Titan video. Consider checking them out if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or maybe even subscribing so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.